इसने लाखों को तारा।
इस महामंत्र का जाप करो, भवजल से मिले किनारा। नमो अरिहंताणं, नमो सिद्धाणं, नमो आयर्याणं, नमो उवछायाणं, नमो लोये सव्वसाहुणं।
नमो लोये सव्वसाहुणम्।
एषो पञ्चणमुपकारो सव्वपावपणासनो, मङ्गलानं चे सव्वेशी पढमम हवै मङ्गलम्।
नमो 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 नमो।
नमोकार मंत्र है न्यारा, इसने लाखों को तारा।
नमोकार मंत्र है न्यारा, इसने लाखों को तारा।
इस महामंत्र का जाप करो, भवजल से मिले किनारा। नमो अरिहंताणं, नमो सिद्धाणं, नमो आयर्याणं, नमो उवछायाणं, नमो लोये सव्वसाहुणं।
नमो लोये सव्वसाहुणम्।
एषो पञ्चणमुपकारो सव्वपावपणासनो, मङ्गलानं चे सव्वेशी पढमम हवै मङ्गलम्।
नमो 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 नमो।
नमोकार मंत्र है न्यारा, इसने लाखों को तारा।
नमोकार मंत्र है न्यारा, इसने लाखों को तारा।
इस महामंत्र का जाप करो, भवजल से मिले किनारा। नमो अरिहंताणं, नमो सिद्धाणं, नमो आयर्याणं, नमो उवछायाणं, नमो लोये सव्वसाहुणं।
नमो लोये सव्वसाहुणम्।
एषो पञ्चणमुपकारो सव्वपावपणासनो, मङ्गलानं चे सव्वेशी पढमम हवै मङ्गलम्।
नमो 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 नमो।
नमोकार मंत्र है न्यारा, इसने लाखों को तारा।
नमोकार मंत्र है न्यारा, इसने लाखों को तारा।
इस महामंत्र का जाप करो, भवजल से मिले किनारा। नमो अरिहंताणं, नमो सिद्धाणं, नमो आयर्याणं, नमो उवछायाणं, नमो लोये सव्वसाहुणं।
नमो लोये सव्वसाहुणम्।
एषो पञ्चणमुपकारो सव्वपावपणासनो, मङ्गलानं चे सव्वेशी पढमम हवै मङ्गलम्।
नमो 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 नमो।
नमोकार मंत्र है न्यारा, इसने लाखों को तारा।
नमोकार मंत्र है न्यारा, इसने लाखों को तारा।
इस महामंत्र का जाप करो, भवजल से मिले किनारा। नमो अरिहंताणं, नमो सिद्धाणं।
The one we have been planning and waiting for. Today we would honor and felicitate the services of 4 entities who have been rendering selfless services for the underprivileged and the voiceless. Let's commence the 20th Mahavir Awards Day function with a prayer. I request Srimati Nirmala, Srimati Kala and Srimati Kiran Bai to kindly come to the stage for the prayer. I request all to rise for the invocation. Kindly be seated. I request Shri Ramesh and Damani to honor our chief guest, Dr. Subramaniam Swami, with a garland. I request our trustee, Shri Vinod Kumar, to honor our chief guest with a shawl as a mark of respect and to express our gratitude. I request Shri Kailash Dugar to honor our distinguished guest, Shri D.R. Metha, with a garland. I request Shri Dilip Kumar Shankla to honor our Shri D.R. Metha with a shawl as a mark of respect and to express our gratitude. May I request Shri Prasant Chand Jain, Managing Trustee of Bhagwan Mahavir Foundation, to welcome the gathering.
Jai Jinendra. I extend my warm greetings to all of you. This is a very special day for the Bhagwan Mahavir Foundation. We have assembled here to honor the selfless services rendered by 3 institutions and 1 individual striving for the betterment of our society. We are honored and privileged that our awards are being presented by Sri Subramaniam Swami, Honorable Member of Rajya Sabha. I consider it a rare privilege and honor to welcome Sri Subramaniam Swami, who has graciously consented to be the chief guest of the function and present the 20th Mahavir Awards. We are indeed fortunate to have him with us today. On behalf of Bhagwan Mahavir Foundation, I extend a very warm welcome to you, sir, and thank you for gracious presence. Sri Subramaniam Swami is an inspiring leader and needs no introduction. He is a source of inspiration to many of us. I feel honored to say a few words about him. Sri Subramaniam Swami is an accomplished economist, mathematician, and a political leader who presently serves as a member of parliament in Rajya Sabha. He was born in Chennai. He obtained PhD in economics from Harvard University. He has been an honorable member of parliament in both the houses in the past and has occupied many prestigious positions in the union government. He was Union Minister of Commerce and Law. Sri Subramaniam Swami also simplified trade procedures and formulated a new export strategy, which became the forerunner of trade reform adopted subsequently. Sri Swami has published papers and authored many books. I wish to name a few books written by him. They are Building a New India, An Agenda for National Renaissance, Assassination of Rajiv Gandhi, Unanswered Questions and Unasked Queries, Rama Setu, Symbol of National Unity, Terrorism in India, a Strategy of Deterrence for India's National Security. I once again welcome you, sir, and thank you for having consented to be the chief guest for today's function. I am very happy to extend a warm welcome to Sri D.R. Mehta, former Chairman, Security and Exchange Board of India, and our esteemed member of the selection jury, who has kindly consented to preside over the function. Sir, we are privileged to have you as a member of the selection jury, and thank you for your support and guidance. We are also honored by the presence of honorable members of selection jury, Sri T.S. Krishnamurthy, and the shortlisting committee, who have been a source of strength and support to us. I am very happy to welcome our awardees, Sri James Myers from Animal Aid Charitable Trust, Srimati Sheila Balaji from AIM for Seva, Sri Harishwar Dayal from Arpana Research and Charities Trust, and Dr. M.C. Nahata. I extend a warm and cordial welcome to all the distinguished guests, dignitaries, and invitees, and the members of the media. I wish to briefly share with you the primary aim of setting up this Bhagavan Mahavir Foundation. There are individuals and institutions in our society who are rendering selfless service to alleviate the sufferings of the less fortunate, the weak, underprivileged, and the voiceless, and to bring about improvement in the society at large without expecting any material rewards. Such rare and altruistic person needs to be identified, nurtured, and honored. Their selfless services should be brought to light so that others may be encouraged and inspired to emulate them. With this strong desire, my father, Sri N. Sugalchand Jain, founded the Bhagavan Mahavir Foundation in 1994 with Bharat Ratna late Sri C. Subramaniam as its chairman. The number of awards increased from 1 to 4 gradually over the years, and the award money from 5 lakhs to rupees 40 lakhs. The foundation has so far honored 59 awardees. Today, we will be honoring 4 more awardees, taking the total to 63 from 17 states and 1 union territory. The awards are presented to individual or institutions for excellence in human endeavor in the following 4 fields: non-violence and vegetarianism, education, medicine, community, and social service. The awards consist of a cash component of rupees 10 lakhs, a citation, and a memento for each of the above fields. I am happy to announce that the cash component of rupees 10 lakhs, which is perhaps one of the highest given by any NGO, is totally exempted from income tax under Section 10(17)(a)(I), facilitating the awardee to utilize the award money in full for the noble cause. I wish to share with you the procedure followed in selecting the awardees. The process begins with inviting nomination from eminent personalities of the nation, such as governors, ministers, members of the parliament, senior bureaucrats, vice chancellors of universities, and the general public. Nominations are also called for through advertisement in newspaper and digital media. The received nominations are shortlisted by the sorting committee. The shortlisted entities are visited by the representatives of the foundation wherever required to ascertain the overall genuineness and the positive impact of the services rendered by the nominees. The shortlisted entities and reports are placed before the selection jury, who evaluate and decide the awardees. The selection jury is headed by Sri M.N. Venkatachalaya, former Chief Justice of India. The other members of the jury are Pujya Acharya Sri Chandanaji Maharaj, eminent sannyasini and social reformer; Sri S. Gurumurthy, academic, corporate advisor, and a well-known commentator on economic and political affairs; Professor B.M. Hegde, Chairman, Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, Mangalore Kendra; Sri T.S. Krishnamurthy, former Chief Election Commissioner of India; Sri D.R. Mehta, IAS retired, former Chairman, Securities and Exchange Board of India; Sri Prabhat Kumar, IAS retired, former Cabinet Secretary, Government of India; Justice Sri G.S. Singhvi, former Judge of Supreme Court of India; and Professor M.S. Swaminathan, Chairman Emeritus M.S. Swaminathan Research Foundation, Chennai. We are indeed fortunate and blessed to have such a wonderful team. The earlier awards were presented by eminent personalities like the President of India, Vice President of India, Chief Minister, governors, and union ministers in formal functions. This year, we received 367 nominations from 24 states and 3 union territories of our country. These nominations were evaluated and placed before the selection jury. The selection jury met at Bangalore on the 15th of April 2017 and the awardees were selected. I thank the selection jury members, shortlisting committee members, the sponsors of the nominees and the nominees for sparing their time and effort. I also have immense pleasure in informing the August gathering that under the aegis of Bhagwan Mahavir Foundation, essay competition called the Mahavir Award for Essays is being conducted from 2016 for schools and college students. The primary aim of conducting these essay competition is to acquaint the young people with the lofty ideals and teachings of Bhagwan Mahavir and to emphasize the need and contemporary relevance of ahimsa and peaceful, harmonious coexistence as preached by Bhagwan Mahavir. The competition is conducted in Tamil and English, prizes ranging from Rs 5,000 to Rs 50,000 for college students and from Rs 1,000 to Rs 15,000 for school students are given every year. The response of schools and colleges is very encouraging. For the first Mahavir Award for Essay competition conducted in February 2016, 3,045 students from 22 schools and 1,274 students from 11 colleges participated. For the second essay competition conducted in January 2017, 6,253 students from 54 schools and 2,397 students from 33 colleges participated. The third essay competition was conducted in this academic year on 31st August 2017 for school students and on 1st September 2017 for college students. 15,272 students from 71 schools and 2,696 students from 20 colleges have participated. I feel very happy that about 18,000 students in and around Chennai have taken part in the competition with enthusiasm. I once again warmly welcome one and all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
I request Shri D.R. Mehta to deliver the presidential address.
Honorable Sri Subramanian Swamiji, Sri Chadda, Sri Krishnamurti, Sri Parachandji, Sugalchandji, distinguished awardees and friends. Today we have a great day. 4 eminent organizations or individuals are being honored with prestigious Mahavir Awards for their exemplary service for humanity and society. What adds to the significance of today's function is that Sri Subramanian Swamiji is the chief guest. How do you describe him? He appears daily on the channels. I know him personally. I worked with him 25 years ago, and he was extremely kind to me. the perception which many of you may not be having. I was talking to a friend on the way to this place. I said, how do I describe Mr. Swami? And we decided on these words, that Mr. Swami is the indomitable, irrepressible, fearless soul of India. He is highly investigative, but he made one mistake. I'm narrating an anecdote. I told him while coming here. One day I read his statement in the paper that Dawood Ibrahim in Pakistan lost his leg because of disease, and he had gone to China to get Jaipur foot. I'm connected with Jaipur foot, so I rang him up. I said, China doesn't have Jaipur foot. That gives you the idea of his investigative talent. He, of course, said that Jaipur foot means any foot anywhere in the world. The Mahavir Award, as was mentioned, is a very distinguished award in the country. And it's my privilege to be one of the members of the jury. It is very eminent chairman, Dr. Venkatachalaya, former Chief Justice Supreme Court, Justice G.C. Singhvi, and other very distinguished people. Very independent. Nobody can ever influence them. And let me say this. Sugal Chand Sahab, he does not speak a word in the meeting. The person who has set up this center. So that's the kind of independence this jury has. Area is non-violence, vegetarianism, education, medicine, social service, and spirit, as was mentioned, is all over the country. Now people from Nagaland and Tamil Nadu, Nagaland and Arunachal got the awards. With that kind of care the jury takes. The four organizations represented by their chairpersons or whoever they are and individuals, they are here. First, on behalf of all of us, I congratulate them. Animal Aids and Charitable Trust in Udaipur is run by, unusually, 3 Americans. He's here, Professor Jim Mayers. He's a professor in professor of English, doctor, and professor of English in American University. Whenever I go to Udaipur, I have to visit his place. Otherwise, the visit is incomplete. And as I walk along with him, his daughter Claire, his wife Erica, one almost gets the feeling as if animals think that their mothers and parents have come along. Now, that's the kind of service they do. I mean, such a great work of ahimsa. And this girl, Clara, she must have addressed about 100,000 students on vegetarianism, American talking about vegetarianism. The name for Seva in Tamil Nadu, they're operating in 16 states, running 100 free student homes, provide quality and free education to such a large number of students. Such a great work they are doing. Dr. Nahta, again, I never met him, but I was amazed. He held 700 eye camps and operated about 2 lakh people. Then Aparna Research Charitable Fund in Haryana takes care of health needs of 1,000 villages in Haryana. Now, these are the kind of people who are present here and whom we are honoring today. For them, awards mean nothing. When they started from the scratch. They faced resistance, they were rejected, but because of their passion, they continued. And over time, they could achieve what they wanted to. They know what the meaning and purpose of life. That's our real tragedy. We live, but for what? What the meaning? What the purpose? I mean, that I think we hardly reflect on and hardly have the idea of. And this is what they tell us. They are not interested, as I said, in honors. It's our obligation that we recognize them, we salute them, we honor them. Not because they want, but because others get inspiration from them. And that's their contribution. They are silent people. Tragedy of our society is that crime is highlighted, not compassion. Services hardly mentioned in the press. You'd hardly read about them in any newspaper. Other societies are different. I don't know what has gone wrong with our media. I talked to some of them. I said, at least mention some of these people, project their work. They would provide some kind of value. The kind of cynicism, the kind of selfishness which exists in this society, that may have some antidote, but nobody bothers. Pick up a paper, you would have politics, you have rape cases, you have murders, you have sports, and you have films. That's the end of paper, the end of media. Nobody talks of them. Nobody talks of good work, as if good work has no meaning in our society. That's the sort of anguish one has. They are the people who are, what Gita says, Nishkam Bhav, doing work without any expectation result. Because for them, it's their passion, it's their perseverance, which has carried them this far. It provides them the joy, which is limitless, joy which is precious. And that is what keeps them going. That is what gives us the inspiration. So I again congratulate all of them for the great work they are doing. I also congratulate the foundation. I mean, so many awards given to so many people. People who are located at such far off places. And that is the beauty of this foundation. So Sugal Chand Sahab, special thanks to you. Babu Sahab, aapko, sabko, puri family ko. It's a great work you have done. And by recognizing them, you have raised the status of your foundation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Today we have gathered here to recognize, honor, and express our gratitude to 3 institutions and 1 individual who are doing selfless service for the betterment of the lives of the weak, underprivileged, and the voiceless. We are presenting the 20th Mahavir Awards to them. The award consists of a cash component carrying rupees 10 lakhs each, a citation, and a memento. We will now have a brief audio-visual presentation of the activities of Animal Aid Charitable Trust, Udaipur, Rajasthan, our awardee in the sphere of non-violence and vegetarianism.
काटना पड़ेगा यार।
I request Srimati Shraddha to read the citation for 20th Mahavir Award for Excellence in Human Endeavour in the sphere of non-violence and vegetarianism.
Animal Aid Charitable Trust. Animal Aid Charitable Trust has been serving abandoned animals in Udaipur since 2002. This trust takes efforts to stop the illegal dog catching and displacement. It has saved the lives of 6,000 dogs since 2015. Animal Aid Charitable Trust receives many calls for help and assistance to control, capture, and transport sick, abused, abandoned animals. The staff promptly respond to these calls and undertake the difficult task and prevent harm and accidents to the animals and public. The staff of the trust descend deep wells, pipes, and other enclosures to rescue distressed, trapped, injured, and sick animals. Animal Aid provides shelter for over 700 abandoned animals at any given time. The trust also encourages people to be vegetarians by reaching out through leaflets and conducting bi-weekly outreach programs. The Bhagwan Mahavir Foundation is pleased to confer the 20th Mahavir Award in the field of non-violence and vegetarianism on Animal Aid Charitable Trust, Udaipur, in recognition of its exemplary service for protection and care of animals. We believe many others will be inspired to emulate them.
I request Sri James Myers and Miss Claire Abrams Myers, representing Animal Aid Charitable Trust, to come to this stage and receive the award. Thank you.
We will have a brief audio-visual presentation of the activities of Aim for Seva Chennai, Tamil Nadu, our awardee in the sphere of education.
India lives in its villages. And every year, we lose thousands of rural childhoods that have the potential to be responsible and inspiring citizens. So where do we start? We start with a hope for a better future.
मेरा नाम सीमा रावत है। मैं कक्षा 5वीं में पढ़ती हूँ। मेरे विद्यालय का नाम M4 सेवा बालिका विद्यालय है और मैं बड़ी होकर कंप्यूटर इंजीनियर बनना चाहती हूँ और मेरे साथ और मेरे परिवार का और मेरे विद्यालय का नाम भी रोशन करना चाहती हूँ।
Like Seema, Aim for Seva shelters and nurtures thousands of these children who have a dream. Located near an existing school, an Aim for Seva free student home facilitates education, giving the rural child all that a home gives and much more. The right nutrition, extra academic help, and a value-driven approach that enriches these children's lives beyond measure. Aim for Seva's network of free student homes from Karnaprayag to Kanyakumari aims at providing quality access to education for free. With the support of passionate and committed individuals, we help realize these children's dreams. Every brick of our home, laced with kindness and care of those who made this possible, supports their hopes. And this is only the beginning. With your help, Aim for Seva transforms these hopes into reality.
For 20th Mahavir Award for Excellence in Human Endeavor in the field of education.
Aim for Seva, established in 2001, helps children in rural and tribal areas to overcome barriers to their education. It has projects in 16 states. Aim for Seva has set up more than 100 free student homes and helped thousands of children access quality education without any cost. This has helped their families and communities to escape poverty and live with dignity. Needy children are taken into the free student home and given free food, accommodation, and education. It has set up vocational training institutes which provide skill and training. Initiatives like Theatre for Development assist children to learn curriculum. The Trust focuses on the all-round development of the students, which includes excellence in academics, communication skills, character building, and encourages literacy along with creativity. Healthcare activities are also undertaken to ensure good health for the children. Salt fortified with micronutrients is given to children to address deficiencies in nutrition. In 2012-2013, organic farming was introduced in several homes. The Bhagwan Mahavir Foundation is pleased to confer the 20th Mahavir Award in the field of education on Aim for Seva in recognition of its exemplary service. We believe many others would be inspired to emulate them.
May I now request our chief guest, Dr. Subramaniam Swamy, to kindly present the award. I request Srimati Sheila Balaji, Chairperson, Aim for Seva, to come to the stage and receive the award.
Madhya Pradesh, our awardee in the sphere of medicine.
He has served the Indian community by organizing more than 700 free surgical eye camps and treating 2 lakh plus patients free of cost. He has revolutionized the field of eye donation and was the first surgeon to ensure educational needs for the blind are met by establishing a braille press in the city. He provided the state with international exposure by getting internationally acclaimed doctors and NGOs to visit and invest in India. Under his able leadership, a unique refractive error assessment program was run in 283 villages. He is known to be a steward in innovation of ophthalmology who was invited by BBC London to deliver a talk on the same. Over the last few years, he has been unidirectionally focusing on preventing blindness in tribal and rural areas and thus constituted an exclusive program called Prayas. Her Excellency Ms. Hasina Sheikh, the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, invited him to Dhaka to enlighten on this. Dr. Nahata is a visionary and an institution in himself. Thus, National Society for Prevention of Blindness has constituted an award of 51,000 in his name called as Dr. M.C. Nahata Netra Suraksha Puruskar for outstanding contribution in this field. For him, welfare of disabled was the second motto of his life. Under his governance, be it as Chairman High Power Committee or as President of different ophthalmological national bodies, the country witnessed groundbreaking programs and beneficiary schemes. 4-Point Disability Program and Helpline Project are two such names. His exemplary work, dedication and passion has brought him more than 100 awards and honours. Be it an award from His Excellency Prime Minister of India, Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, or a civil honour by 500 people. He has always dedicated his laurels to the community at large. Dr. Nahata is also a profound academician who has written more than 50 research papers and 100 articles. Apart from being a visiting professor to Indian universities, he has been to Tokyo, Poland and UK for the same. He has always believed in being the voice of change, thus giving birth to the writer in him. He has authored 3 books which are widely acknowledged, and a specially abled person has written and published a biography on him known as Anmol Manak. Dr. Nahata's selfless service of 6 decades to the Indian society remains as a constant source of inspiration to the ophthalmological fraternity at large.
I request Ms. Palak to read the citation for 20th Mahavir Award for Excellence in Human Endeavour in the field of medicine.
Today I'm going to speak about the most philanthropic person, Dr. M.C. Nahata. Dr. M.C. Nahata, an ophthalmologist, has been rendering services for over 6 decades in the field of eye care, focusing on prevention, rehabilitation, academics, and social work. He has been a pioneer in establishing and developing newer services like retinal and laser units, cryosurgery technology, and low vision services. The professor has conducted 700 eye camps and performed 2 lakh operations. He has detected and corrected refractive errors in a population of 2.5 lakhs spread over 283 villages in Vidisha district in Madhya Pradesh, and free spectacles were distributed. He started campaign for promotion of eye donation. He is credited with management of calamities at the time of outbreak of epidemic conjunctivitis, methyl alcohol poisoning, and Bhopal gas tragedy. He visited 7 tribal districts of Madhya Pradesh, Dhar, Jabua, Alirajpur, Bhadwani, Khargan, Khandwa, and Burhanpur, and implemented a unique program called Prayas to prevent blindness. He was instrumental in getting the first Braille press established at Indore. The Bhagwan Mahavir Foundation is pleased to confer the 20th Mahavir Award in the field of medicine on Dr. M.C. Nahata in recognition of his exemplary service. We believe many others would be inspired to emulate him.
May I now request our Chief Guest, Dr. Subramanian Swamy, to kindly present the award. I request Dr. M.C. Nahata to come to the stage and receive the award. Thank you.
We will have a brief audio-visual presentation of the activities of Arpana Research and Charities Trust, Karnal, Haryana.
Arpana's inspirational founder, Param Pujya Ma said, "Give happiness to all who surround you and you will gain abiding peace." Arpana, founded in 1962, embraces the spirit of Vedanta and celebrates through service the Supreme Spirit manifest in all creation. In 1998, Arpana began to organize rural landless women into self-help groups when they had no voice, no visibility, no recognition or respect, no resources, no savings, and certainly no bank accounts. Arpana formed 51 self-help groups in 2000 with 765 members and a saving of 9 lakhs. In 2016, there are 821 groups with 11,588 members and a saving of above 19 crores. Their lives have changed. An external assessment in 2014 revealed that 76% women have savings above rupees 10,000, 87% women have their own accounts, 96% women have taken loans from their groups, and 56% women have invested in small businesses. 87% women say that they have control over their income. 96% say they have experienced a decrease in illness in their families. And 85% women take responsibility to share information with the neighbors. 792 out of 812 groups are members of women's federations. Pratibha, president of Unnati Federation, says, "We now have knowledge and skills. We deal with banks. We have our savings. Our total savings presently are above 19 crores. Our neighbors seek our advice. Our families consult us. We can move freely and present our case to all officials and panchayats. We were mocked as ignorant. Now we keep our records, use calculators, and now we are also able to do cashless transactions." The role of women's federations is in group strengthening, capacity building, meeting larger credit needs, monitoring, evaluation, and auditing of self-help groups' records, and payment of incentives to women trained as peer educators. In 2006, Jan Shakti Mahila Vikas Sangathan had 55 members and a saving of about 3 lakhs. In 2016, it has increased to 397 members with a saving of 75 lakhs. Similarly, in 2012, Jan Shakti Mahila Unnati Sangathan had 60 members and a saving of 97,000. And in 2016, these has increased to 395 members with a saving of about 38 lakhs.
I request Srimati Shritika to read the citation for 20th Mahavir Award for Excellence in Human Endeavor in the field of community and social service.
Arpana Research and Charities Trust, Karnal, Haryana. Arpana Research and Charities Trust was established in 1980 to serve the rural folks of Karnal district, Haryana. It runs a 135-bedded hospital with 3 operation theatres, well-equipped ICU, and has specialized clinics and daily OPD. This hospital is catering to the needs of over 1,000 villages. Arpana Rural Development Services provide loving care to neglected children under 5 years of age. They have assisted in starting women self-help groups in remote villages of Himachal Pradesh. Farmers' clubs are formed where they are taught effective methods of farming and irrigation methods for terraced plots. Over 8,000 meetings have been conducted to create awareness about antenatal care, nutrition, prevention of seasonal diseases, family welfare, right to education, and domestic violence. The Trust has identified 1878 differently abled persons from 55 villages and assisted in forming 48 differently abled persons organization. The DPOs have generated savings of over rupees 24 lakhs. Some have started their own businesses. This has given them confidence, immense self-esteem, dignity, and opportunity to participate in village activities. The Bhagwan Mahavir Foundation is pleased to confer the 20th Mahavir Award in the field of community and social service on Arpana Research and Charities Trust in recognition of his exemplary service. We believe many others would be inspired to emulate them.
May I now request our Chief Guest, Dr. Subramaniam Swamy, to kindly present the award. I request Shri Harishwar Dayal, President, and Srimati Aruna Dayal, Vice President of Arpana Research and Charities Trust, to come to the stage and receive the award.
I request our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Subramanian Swamy, to kindly address the gathering.
Managing Trustee of the Bhagwan Mahavir Foundation, Shri Jain, Trustee Shri Chadda, Mr. Krishnamurthy, and of course, very great pleasure, I would like to refer to D.R. Mehta. When I became Commerce Minister, I asked the then Prime Minister Chandrasekhar, why commerce? He says, you have to clean it up, it's very corrupt. So I called the Intelligence Bureau Chief, you don't know this, and said, who's the most honest officer in Commerce Ministry? They said, D.R. Mehta. And I said, what is he in the Commerce Ministry? They said, he's the Joint Controller of Imports and Exports, issuing licenses. I said, how can he be honest in that office? But later on I found out, when I had the pleasure of interacting with him, very straight, very upright, and this country is surviving because such chupa Rustams all over. He later, of course, became Deputy Governor of Reserve Bank and then the head of the chairman of the SEBI, in which he wrote all the necessary regulations about corporate governance. So I have interacted with him on telephone, but I'm seeing him after a long time. So it's a special pleasure in recognizing you and happy to meet you again. I also congratulate the organizations which have got the the awards, and all of them are very eminent. The Animal Aid Charitable Trust, Aim for Seva, and that, in a sense, I feel personally pleased to give them the award because it was actually part of the Arsh Vidyalaya Gurukul, which was headed by Swami Dayanand Saraswati. And I can say from my personal experience, because everyone has his own personal view, that after the Shankaracharya of Kanchi, Sri Chandrasekhar Saraswati, the person I found amongst the spiritual leaders closest to God was Swami Dayanand Saraswati. And he has written vast amount of books. He was also very proficient in English. And he used to explain everything so simply that he often called me to address the classes that he used to conduct in the ashram. And I used to be surprised at the people coming from almost, places far away from developed countries, people who would never even think of attending a course on Gita, be there, simply sit there And therefore, I think this award, of course, is most well deserved because I know something about this organization. I'm also thankful to the Bhagwan Mahavir Foundation for inviting me. I have a great admiration for the Jain community because of their steadfastness, their commitment to nonviolence on what they call the aparigraha, that is non-attachment to worldly things. And their gurus I meet regularly, whether it's in Ghatkopar in Bombay or in Ahmedabad, all over the place. And they are people who are really dedicated, and it's a small community, but it has made a profound contribution to the country's economic development. I think first, let me say that in India, we have two kinds of religions. One which were born in India, and the other which came with foreigners from outside. The one significant fact about the religions born in India is that they are non-converting, they're non-proselytizing. If of your own sweet will you want to volunteer to take that religion, of course you're welcome. But there is no attempt to persuade you to join that and become a member of that religion, and certainly not force at all. And on top of that, all religions born in India regard that every religion provides you a pathway to reach God. And that is only true of the religions born in India. It is not true of any other religion that I know, which says that other religions also can lead you to God. And therefore, nobody needs to teach us secularism, because when we have accepted that all religions lead to God, and mine is not any superior in any way, then you are, of course, a person who's committed yourself to secularism. Our Constitution in Article 25 defines Hindu as someone who is not a Christian or a Muslim. So Hindu is not a word which is religious. Hindu religion, if you want to give it a term, it's Sanatan Dharma. And it's like in other religions born in India. It's a religion which is based on argument and logic. And therefore, I do not feel any difference between being a Sanatani Dharma, belonging to Sanatan Dharma, and to Jain. I treat them both as my religion. And the preachings of Mahavira, I have read here and there, and it is something which is purely logical. And your commitments that I see of your acharyas shows that this religion, despite its small numbers, had a profound impact much beyond the numbers. Now, we are today in this country in a very important crossroads. And the issue is now that if you were to propagate any religion, you are called intolerant. But the fact of the matter is that the Constitution is very clear, and that clarity should be brought to the knowledge of everybody. Article 25 of the Constitution says you have freedom of worship, you have freedom to pursue your faith, but it is subject to reasonable restrictions. And those restrictions are for three reasons. One is morality, the other is that which would affect public order, and third, that which would affect health. You cannot take a retrograde practice in a religion and say you cannot interfere because this is my religion. And in secularism, you have no right to interfere in religion. The government of our country under the Constitution can intervene in any religion on these three grounds. It can take over religious institutions for the pure purpose, administrative purpose of managing its finances if they have reports that these finances are not properly managed. Of course, so far the government of India has only in the last 70 years taken over Hindu institutions. But I think it's time they should look at some other religions also and bring them in line with the constitutional principle of openness and health. But there is no possibility of our agreeing that this government elected by the people cannot intervene to ensure that religious practices are compliant with and congruent with morality, with public order, and as well as health. You can't say that in order to get a promotion in my job, I must sacrifice my son by beheading him. There are some weird practices like that occasionally. Or you cannot say that I don't believe in gender equality because that's what my religion says. That would affect morality according to the Constitution. So today we have to see that all religious practices become modern. But fortunately, Jain religion is already modern, so you don't need any reform, in my opinion. I am of the view that we should now start seriously thinking about what religious values mean to us in the daily life. There are some special aspects of our country's religions which were born in India. We respect people who make sacrifice. We respect to people attain knowledge. When I first went as a student to Harvard University to get my PhD before I joined the faculty, my classmate in the first class that I attended asked me while we were waiting for the professor, why Indians followed Mahatma Gandhi. So I said, why not you tell me how does this thought occur to you? He said, the man is not properly dressed. How can you follow him? So I asked him, in your country, a leader has to be properly dressed? He said, yes. See, at that time, Kennedy was the president. He said, see Kennedy, how smart he is in his tie and coat and shoes and so on. And we expect our leaders to be. So the religious leaders also. Look at our religious leaders, whether it's Swami Dayananda Saraswati or whether it is the Shankaracharyas or whether it's the Jain Munis, all so simply dressed. But if you see the religions which are not born in India, you will find that their chief mystics or their chief religious leaders, they are so very well dressed. So there is a cultural difference because we have extolled sacrifice with learning and given it the highest pedestal. Even wealth is not, in some societies, wealth is everything, but in ours it is this. So therefore, it is time to inculcate that pursuing your material objectives, and there's no bar in our religions born in this country to pursuing material objectives. But to pursue material objectives, you have to keep harmonizing it with your spiritual values. And that spiritual values are what Jain religion teaches. And therefore, we become better human beings when we harmonize both spiritual advancement with material progress. And that is why just pure religious, looking them in separate compartments is different. Religion is also a philosophy for your life. And that is why in this country, despite all the invasions, attacks, butchering, other countries have capitulated. Iran capitulated in 15 years to go from Zoroastrian to 100% Islam. So in Iraq as well, in 17 years, Egypt capitulated. In 21 years, it became Islamic. Europe in 50 years became 100% Christian. But this country, despite 800 years or 1,000 years of foreign invasions, this country still retained all its religions which were born in this country. So therefore, it's a philosophy of life, it's a philosophy of the way you should be, and consequently, such an approach would be very good. Social service is a part of our religious activity. It is not something that you're doing anybody a favor. You are in fact doing what God expects you to do to help your fellow human beings. So the organizations today whom you have recognized all are extremely eminent, and I congratulate the foundation for making such a successful program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I request Sri D.R. Mehta to release the brochure of the 20th Mahavir Awards. The first copy will be received by our chief guest, Dr. Subramanian Swamy. Thank you, sir. I request Sri D.R. Mehta to present a memento to our distinguished chief guest, Dr. Subramanian Swamy, as a mark of gratitude and respect. I request Dr. Subramanian Swamy to present a memento to our distinguished guest, Sri D.R. Mehta. Thank you, sir. To capture the lovely moments of the day and to cherish them always, I request the trustees and our advisor to come to the stage for a group photograph. Now I request our trustee, Sri Vinod Kumar, to propose vote of thanks.
Respected Sri Subramanian Swamy ji, Sri D.R. Mehta ji, Sri T.S. Krishnamurti ji, Sri Naresh Gupta ji, Sri Shankar ji, distinguished guests, my dear friends. It's indeed a very satisfying and privileged moment for me to stand before you all and propose vote of thanks. I feel honored to get an opportunity to thank Dr. Swamy, Honorable Member of Rajya Sabha, for having kindly consented to be the chief guest and present the awards. Sir, thank you very much for finding time to be with us. We look forward to your continued support and encouragement. I thank Sri D.R. Mehta, former Chairman, Securities and Exchange Board of India, for being with us here and presiding over the function. We have a very warm and close relationship with Sri D.R. Mehta. He is an esteemed member of our selection jury. Thank you, sir. I congratulate the awardees and thank them for their presence. We are sure that you will continue your good work for the welfare of our society and will be a role model for many others to emulate. Our thanks are due to the sponsors who have assisted us in identifying the person and institution doing selfless service in our society. I place on record my deep appreciation for the support and encouragement by the selection jury members and the members of the shortlisting committee who have assisted us in the process of the selection of the awardees. I thank Srimati Samta Lakhani for bringing out 20th Mahavir Awards booklet. Our thanks go to the members of the media for having so graciously responded to our invitation. We expect you all will give wide publicity to the event today and highlight the work done by the awardees. I thank the audience, family members, friends, and staff who have been assisted in making the function a success. Friends, my father, Sri N. Sugalchan Jain, is the driving force behind this whole process. His vision, interest, and compassion has led to this accomplishment. The Bhagwan Mahavir Foundation is the manifestation of desire to honor individuals and institutions who serve the underprivileged, the weak, and the voiceless in our society. I take this opportunity to thank each and everyone who has taken effort and helped us in identifying such altruistic persons and institutions. I express my deepest gratitude to Sri Rajuji Bora, Sri Praveen B. Chheda, Sri Ramesh N. Damani, Sri Kishore Ajmera, Sri Kamlesh Vijay, and members of the foundation for their cooperation. Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir. Kindly rise for the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you, one and all.
नमो 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 नमो.
नमोकार मंत्र है न्यारा किसने लाखों को तारा.
नमोकार मंत्र है न्यारा इसने लाखों को तारा.
इस महामंत्र का जाप करो भवजल से मिले किनारा. नमो अरिहंताणम नमो सिद्धाणम नमो आयर्या